Hey guys, welcome to another video. So today I just watched the first Angry Birds movie because it was just on YouTube. Some random guy posted it on YouTube. And holy shit, that movie was really good actually. I did not expect that. Okay, so like basically the red bird, his name is Red. I know, very creative. He's always angry and stuff, you know. People say he has anger management issues, but like honestly, with how annoying some of the people there are, I'm not surprised that he has anger management issues. Like it's not even anger management at this point. It's just like they're just annoying. So it's just normal anger, okay? But like the premise of the movie, right? The pigs come over to the island. They all try to live on the island. I mean, they all live on the island. The birds live on an island, and then the pigs come over to their island and act all friendly and shit. And there's a lot of ass in the movie for some reason, like a lot. And the yellow bird, his name is Chuck. He's totally into that. Kind of gay, I'm not gonna lie. But then they go like infiltrate the piggy's ship, and there's like some game references, right? I think to the other Angry Birds game because I think there was this car scene, so it's probably an Angry Birds Go reference, or maybe it's Bad Piggies reference. I'm not really sure. It's probably one of those. And like the pigs actually come over. They said they're alone and traveling and scouting for new places to live in and stuff. But in actuality, the ship has like 500 more pigs in the basement hiding and stuff. And then we cut to more asses. And then they celebrated and stuff, welcomed the pigs to their islands and stuff. And then Red found out about it and then told them that they're lying. He said it in like the most racist way possible. So like none of all the birds just think he's fucking racist. So that's kind of funny. And then like the next day they were in the therapy session, and Red was like, he made like 6 pictures of him, not him, but like 6 pictures of how the pig would die, which is kind of fucked up and still fucking racist. And then everybody, pretty much almost everybody, didn't like the fact that Red was worried about them. So he and his other friends, the yellowbird Chuck and the blackbird Bomb, went to find like the king of birds there. Like basically, I mean, like I guess like their hero, the mighty eagle. That's his name. It's a really lame name, but that's his name. And while on their way there, Bomb and Chuck try to figure out what the mighty eagle's like battle cry would sound like. So throughout the journey, they were just screaming at each other. It's supposed to be funny. I think it's pretty dumb, honestly, and pretty annoying. I can see why Red gets angry. It's normal reaction. And then eventually they find Mighty Eagle's like base. It's beautiful, by the way. Look at this. Look at this. It looks beautiful. I can't believe it. It's crazy. And then they were swimming in the water. Chuck and Bomb were swimming in the water. Not Red. And then it was disgusting because they were like spitting water into each other's mouths. And then the mighty eagle pops out and he starts peeing into the lake. So that was pretty funny. But that's still pretty disgusting. Like, that's a pretty disgusting joke. Literally a really disgusting joke. He's like asking them what they want, and then he's like, I give people wisdom and stuff. And then Yellow is like, oh, Chuck is like, oh, why don't you give us some then? And then he's like, wisdom is simply not given, it is obtained. And then Bomb, being a real dude, was like, alright, bye. and then Mighty Eagle didn't want them to leave. So then he brought them to his cave, basically, and then, he started dancing and showing his ass, more ass in the children's movie. And turns out Mighty Eagle is into older women. You know, older women? You know, adult women? Yeah, not those. He's into like the really old ones. Like that's a really specific age. And like when he shows it to Red about his fetish, I guess, it's kind of similar to like Jiraiya telling Naruto how he's an old pervert that likes to peek on women. That's basically what Mighty Eagle does. So that's pretty great, I guess. I don't know. And then Red was not happy, obviously, because he didn't think his hero was such a pervert. And then looking through the binoculars, Red found out that the pigs were stealing the kids, their eggs, the birds' babies. And then, like, they went back, Red, Chuck, and Bomb went back to try and stop them. They failed. Their whole town was pretty much just destroyed with TNT. And then, yeah, basically they just blew up their whole village. Like, no birds died because they were all partying, but all their kids got kidnapped. Only the egg kids, the ones that weren't born, the ones that were born, they didn't take. They only took the egg kids, the eggs. I don't know why I keep saying kids. And then the lawyer bird was, like, berating Red throughout the entire movie so far, calling him out for his anger and shit. Saying how Red shouldn't be like that, how he's different, and calling him an outcast and stuff, right? And after this scenario, he was like asking for Red to lead them because he was like, Red, you were right. I'm sorry. I should have judged better. I shouldn't have been so trusting. Blah blah blah. And then their plan was, well, Chuck's plan was just fuck it, fuck the stolen babies. We'll replace the babies. Let's all start having sex. That was basically his plan. Yeah. It was kind of crazy. I'm like, goddamn. I didn't think they would put that into a children's movie. But they did. Which is pretty base, not gonna lie. And then Red was like, no. We're making a boat to save our children. And now I'm making the boat. There was like one teaching scene. This dude, his name is Terrence. He's the Giga Chad of the movie. You see him teaching the other birds how to be angry, and they have no idea how to be angry. And this is my reaction after seeing them attempt to be angry. And then they made the boat, and then they all went to the piggies' island. And then we cut to there, and then once they get there, they start like Terrence puts the slingshot into the ground, and then all the birds start slingshotting, you know, like the game, you know, like the Angry Birds throwing themselves at buildings and killing the pigs, blowing shit up. Yeah, like in the games. And then the King Pig saw that like his fucking kingdom was being blown up by birds landing. He was like, oh shit, we gotta stop them. And then we get another cut. We see that Mighty Eagle's like right there, reminiscing, realizing that he's washed. And, you know, basically he'll be back in the movie later. And then we get this cool dude. Never seen him before, but he's got like superpowers. Like I'm assuming he's in the games. I didn't play that many of the Angry Birds game, but I think he probably is in it. You know, because like he's pretty cool. Like he like inflated himself. He turned himself into like a ball, and then they shot him, and then he landed, and all the pigs were like, "Holy shit, get him!" You know, they're trying to capture the birds now. The pigs are like, "Get him!" And then once they jumped on it, he inflated so fast, almost as fast as the inflation rate going around in the world, and he just fucking became huge. You know, like my dick. And then they threw. You know, they slingshotted the lawyer bird, and I think it's a Thor reference because like he's holding his lawyer hammer like Thor, and then like he basically blew up this whole block after he landed, which is must be that hammer doing right. Like I don't know, that's crazy. And then later on, we get rickrolled by the Mighty Eagle for some reason. I can't believe the Angry Birds movie rickrolled me. That was crazy. But don't worry, guys, I'm not gonna rickroll you. And then we come back Then we come back, they finally made it to the castle. They shot Red into the castle. Red made it finally, you know, so they're infiltrating it. They also shot Chuck and Bomb in there. And then, you know, they're infiltrating the castle to find the eggs. This is pretty funny. Like, I can't believe the pigs made a dad joke. Like, basically, the king's like, there's a red bird. He's in our walls. Go find him. And then, like, his soldiers, or like guards or whatever, all started listening to the actual walls. Which is pretty funny, I guess. It's a dad joke. Dad jokes are always funny. And then, you know, a bunch of stuff happens. They infiltrate the building, they fight back. Especially the ones that are still getting slingshot. And then the pigs were like, send in the freaking airplanes, because the pigs know how to fly for some reason. And then this guy shot on an airplane, and he saw the airplane, and he was like, you know, Terrence, he was like, oh god, I gotta launch myself. And then he broke the slingshot, so that's pretty bad. And then they saw, and then back to the castle scene, Chuck, Red, and Bomb saw a few guards at the front, like 6 of them. And then they were like strategizing while Red was strategizing how they would take out the guards and get in there. And then Red was like, oh, I don't think Chuck would be useful. And then Chuck just proved himself useful by soloing the guards. Like, he did a thing in the Sonic 2 movie. Like, he basically just stopped time, moved all around the place. Which is like, why doesn't he just do this more often? Nobody knows, but he did that. And we saw it. That was epic. Pretty OP. When the eggs were about to get cooked, Mighty Eagle showed up, saved their asses, and saved the eggs. And like, while they were trying to escape, one of the eggs fell out. It fell out of the net thing that they had holding all the eggs. And then Red was like basically about sacrifices himself by letting go, and then jumps back out into the piggy place to try and protect that one egg, to try and save that one egg, that one child. Fucking good Chad, bro. And then we cut to the scene where like all the birds that already slingshotted that didn't land in the castle are getting chased after by pigs. And then like Matilda, the white bird in the game that poops eggs out that blows up. Yeah, she started shitting all over them. Like, literally. She just pointed her ass at them and then blew them up. It's fucking crazy. I can't believe this is a kids show. And then Bomb realized, oh shit, they're all the dudes in airplanes. They're never stopping. They're non-stop. They're using that ramp to fly and shit. So he just blows up the ramp. And that entire fucking block of fucking houses. I'm pretty sure all those pigs died, bro. Like, I'm pretty sure that's like a 50 kill count at the bare minimum. And then while Matilda and the others were running away because, I don't know, I guess she doesn't remember that she can just shit on them and they will die. I don't know. This fucking car came running, driving over, and they're like, oh no, they're trapped. The pigs are gonna get them captured, you know? But no, Terrence, the Giga Chad, was driving the car to save them, which was pretty cool. And then we come back to the final showdown between the King Pig and Red. You know, they're like, the King Pig was talking garbage to him, like calling him eyebrows, which like brought back traumatic memories for Red. And like he was about to crash out, and then he realized, no, this is not the time to crash out. So he didn't crash out. So he started like complimenting the piggy on their great idea of stealing their children. But he was actually stalling for time so he could get him. And then he tricked the king piggy, and then got the egg back, and then the whole city blew up. I mean, the whole kingdom blew up, actually. So, I'm pretty sure they just genocided the entire pig race. Well, that would have been the case, But the fact that there's Angry Birds 2 movie and the third one is coming out this year, I guess it didn't. I guess they didn't get genocided, so whatever, I guess. And then we cut to the scene where like all the parents got their eggs back, except for one parent, for one couple, because Ray was trying to save their baby, so they didn't get their egg back yet. They're sad, you know, and depressed and stuff. And then everybody realized, oh my God, the kingdom blew up. Where's Red? So they were like all like sad and stuff, thinking Red died. You know, they're all sad and depressed. And then out of nowhere, this kid's like, Daddy! And then everybody's like, oh, he's alive! You know? If you don't know why he called him Daddy, just rewatch the movie. And then Chuck and Bomb, obviously, the most excited about it because they're his friends. So they run over, is like, oh no, you know, acting all sad and stuff. Like the kids died or something. You know, the egg that he was trying to protect, like, hatched. And then everybody's like, no, did the baby die? And in actuality, Red just lied to everybody, acted like he was sad, because they were they were perfectly fine, alive, and they were in his hand. So I don't even know why he looked sad and stuff. Like, there was no reason for him to look sad. So yeah, everybody's happy, you know. He gives the baby back to the sad couple. They thank him, all that good stuff, happy ending. And then there's this random guy, there's this random bird dude, the hugger guy throughout the movie. He was basically trying to get hugs throughout the movie, but nobody fucking hugged him. And then by the end of the movie, 5 birds, girl birds, hugged him. I'm kind of jealous, I'm not gonna lie. Like I want to get hugged by 5 pretty girls. That'd be great, but that's not the point of the movie. And then they built they rebuilt Red's home because it was destroyed earlier in the movie. They rebuilt the village, and now he's back, part of their village, because he was an outcast before. So that's pretty great. And then everybody welcomed Red back into his house, and all the kids that Red saved from the piggy heist, you know, the eggs, they all became born and stuff. The kids were all born, and they all sang this really happy song to call him their hero and stuff, right? So that's pretty great too. And it turns out Terrence, the Giga Chat, was the one that taught them how to sing that song. And then later on, Matilda accepts Terrence's love confession, and just making this movie even better. Another big W for the Giga Chat Terrence. So yeah, it's a W movie because of that, and that's basically the end of it. That's it, that's the movie. It was great. And I don't know if I'm gonna watch Angry Birds 2, but Angry Birds 1 was really good. So yeah, that's all I want to talk about. See you guys next time. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.